Hey, Dasan here. Today I'm reviewing the new Valentine's event, Bittersweet Nazarick. So the event kicked off with a rerun of the previous event we got last year. So you just clear that for 100 stones-ish, and then you also get some medals and a chance to redeem for the old relic. And then it also gave us a new event. We clear that, and the event was pretty easy for, I'd say, even newer players. It's not quite like even Day Life Undead. The Undead is just two waves of enemies, Skull Knight, Kyokusune, and Hamsuke. And then the next wave is just Mare, Aura, and Yuri. The two new ones, and then Mare is the base Mare. So it's generally not a difficult event to clear. As always, clearing the Undead gives you 10k medals, nothing else really. And actually, I think for the achievement limited event, you actually get 30 stones for clearing this as well. So that's a nice plus bonus. Besides that, we have two new units and two new relics we'll look at later as well. And we're also going to go check out the metal exchange shop because I think that it is one of the nicer ones we got lately. So moving on to the exchange shop, we have the brand new relic, which is Happy Valentine's. Then we have last year's relic as well. We also have a gold ticket in the shop, which is really nice because I like it when they give us the option to gamble for maybe a relic, which are all good now except for maybe like elf twins. And then or a unit, which is at this point you're just collecting luck on some of your old units. Maybe you can pull Fluto, maybe you can pull like Gladiatides. So I don't think it's bad anymore. Like you can pull like some of the original units, and that might kind of suck, but then you can just start collecting luck on them and start getting 7-color crystals. Not bad. Silver Broad 6 as well. We have tech and speed mats like the Day Life shop, which is kind of like weird, but it makes sense because the new Valentine's units are also tech and speed. So we have two options to buy. We have the lower priced option and the higher priced option. So you can, if you want to, redeem for both if you really want to get your units maxed out really quickly. So besides that, we have also Dragon Eggs, we have Enhanced Books, we have Attack Books, we have Skill Scrolls, we have Relic Food, we have Gold, just like any other shop. So that's pretty decent. The units we got now are the new Aura, which is a tech attacker. She has pretty average stats. 8k is kind of a new norm for attackers. It used to be the higher end, but at this point in the game, 8,000 is kind of normal. HP is average at 7,300, decent speed, decent defense, a lot of weaknesses, but that doesn't really matter. Her first skill is a 2 to 5 hits, so very similar to Nazarick Shizu, except that Nazarick Shizu has about an 80% chance to hit each time. Aura only has a 45% chance to hit, so it's much lower, but the rate is at 62, which is a lot higher than Nazarick Shizu's 39, and it gives plus 10 speed to self for free turns, which not the worst. Not as good as say giving attack buff or defense shred, but it's a plus. And then she has a self buff for 40% attack and 46% crit for free turns. This actually makes me think of another unit, which would be the Christmas Shizu, where they both have kind of like a strong single hit damage skill. So this is the multi hit. So 4 hits of 65, which is better than Aura up till 5 hits, I'd say, because this is consistent. It has Sleep Killer, which is synergizes with her kit, which is a lot better than Aura's other skills that are harder to synergize with. But she also has a similar buff, except it's 2 MP, 50 attack, 46 crit. Aura's is a bit less attack, so that's kind of a shame. And then Aura's third skill, instead of having a synergistic skill, she just has a really strong single target water nuke for 6 MP. You could argue this is better than Christmas Shizu's sleep skill, but it's pretty much what you would want better. If you're trying to nuke water, this is better. If you just want to set up like a combo with Shizu, that could be better, but they might not be susceptible to status. So it's really people's pros and cons and how while they think having a strong elemental skill over having maybe a chance to sleep something is. Besides that, she has physical attack on her passive of skill damage 25 and 15 for just everything else. I'd say that's a lot better than Shizu's threshold skill and worse than her only physical attack because she doesn't get skill damage well. And then I feel this is the threshold skill done correctly on a unit. I wish in the future every unit had this kind of threshold skill where if you're above 50%, you get a small boost. If you're below 50%, you get like a bigger boost, right? So I feel in the future, hopefully they make all threshold skills just like this. That way you're always getting something out of your passive. This is just for her single target nuke of 6 MP though. So yeah, that is a bit more lame instead of having physical attack as a boost, but like it just makes her a really good single target water nuker. Her overdrive is an AoE damage that minuses 1 hit, 15% speed, 102% damage. It's alright. Not the best overdrive in the game. I feel like she's a really strong single target nuker. She's kind of very similar to Christmas Siege. If you work with her aim a bit, with like hit buffers or having even eyebrow before you for the +4, I feel like she'd be very successful as like a single target nuker. Could even be up there with the rest of them, such as Christmas Shizu, Adinala, Nazarick Evil Eye, and all the other ones. It seems that Aura is always going to be a kind of unit that excels at just like single target DPS, just like her Halloween Aura and Nazarick Aura with her Dancing Whip skills. Yeah, no, it seems to be a very common trend. Alright, and then we'll move on to the next unit, which is the new Yuri. I'm really happy Yuri got an ult. She ties all the other players now with the amount of ults that they have. But besides that, she actually fills a role which we were severely lacking in. She is a speed wind attacker. So like technically she's an enhancer for a class type, but that's fine because her attack is actually like a bit lower on the end of like attacking units with 7,600. Which is not quite the 8,000 new attackers have, but she's enhanced, so it's okay. Her speed's insane at 440, her HP is average at 7,600, so she won't necessarily just kill over and die, which is nice. Defense is a bit low, but that's okay. We treat her as an attacker, so we can forgive some of these stats, and her resistances are better than her weaknesses, which is always a plus. Her first skill is a single target, 3 MP damage skill that does 130 wind, 50% elemental rate up, 45 defense down. And if you look at her second skill, it is a buff, and her third skill is an AoE wind skill. And then you're thinking, wait a minute, this reminds me of another unit, and you're right. She is pretty much another Philo. It's kind of sad because she's better HP, she has lower attack, she's better defense, and lower speed. So pretty much she's like, technically, oh wait, the attack difference is not that big, so that's not really an issue. The speed is not really that much of an issue either, because Philo is just insanely fast overall. But then you realize like her ratios. That's the scary point, because her single target is a 130 wind attack with 50 element rate up and a really good defense shred. Then you realize Philo is lower in damage and element rate up, and it's a speed shred instead, which is a smaller. And then her Philo's buff is 50% wind element to self, 30% magic for self for free. But then you realize Yuri's is an AoE, and it's 50% physical skill and 35% physical attack. So technically, as a team buffer, Yuri is better. And even if you're using it for yourself, it's really expensive because it's 4 and not 2. But even then, I think it's a better buff. And then her last skill is the AoE, right? But then it's 4 MP. Philo's is 5 MP. Philo's is 2 hits of 38. Yuri's is 2 hits of 42. So it's already 8% more. And the elemental rate is 100. Philo suffers for only having 65. And then hers is a 15% defense shred. But then Yuri's is 30. So then you realize, like, Yuri is just a better Philo. But you're thinking, what about the passives and the overdrive? And then you just look at it and get more sad. Because then Yuri's like 50% wind. 50% physical attack, 25% wind, and then Philo's like 10% magical only. And then second one's 10% speed, but then Yuri's like 15% speed. So like it's the worst passives. And then overdrive is 2 hits of 129 to a single enemy, 100% grotesque killer. That's just the cherry on top. You can actually hit PDL super hard because PDL is a grotesque unit, which is kind of weird. And then you'd be like, okay, Philo, what do you got? And it's 145 to 1. And then you get yourself 30% magical attack, 50% speed, but Yuri gives herself 52% attack. So it's just worth Philo. It feels really bad because she only had a couple months to play to be the best wind attacker. Then Yuri shows up and instantly dethrones her. But what can you do in this game? There'll always be power creep, and Philo is just a victim of it. What a shame. Besides that, we can move on to relics. Relic-wise, our first one is the event relic. Happy Valentine's. It is a really strong relic. It has the same passive as Mighty Warrior, so it is just a generic crit relic. But instead of going balls deep into attack with 3,000 plus attack, it instead gives you balanced distribution. 2k HP, about 1,500 attack, about 50 speed, about 500 defense. I'd say this kind of relic is really good for the harder content where, hey, I need my unit to be able to take a hit, so I should give it some HP so it doesn't keel over, instead of just going balls to the wall with Mighty Warrior. I even say, in my last video about PDL, this is another good relic to run on PDL himself as well. Yeah, it's solid. Gives you HP, gives you attack. Crits always welcome to increase the DPS. I like it. I recommend maxing this out, getting 5 copies from the event, and leveling up to 100. One of the better like free relics we've gotten in a long time. And then our last relic is the Gacha relic, which is willing to create. So it's just like, yeah, put in the work. You know, maybe this Valentine's Day, make some chocolates for that special someone. If you don't have that special someone, make some chocolate for yourself. Pretty good. It gives 2,200 HP, 1,800 defense, 100 speed, plus 4 hit. This is really good on your enhancers. I Bow Before You is also really good. This thing just gives you 2 stacks of magic immune damage, which may help you in some of the undead harder content in the game if you want to have this instead of I Bow Before You, even though I Bow Before You has about like 1,200 more HP anyways. It gives you a lot of speed, which your enhancer wants, and it gives you defense, which helps them not die. And then it gives you plus 4 hit to land your debuffs and stuff. Especially with content with evasion, your debuffs landing is really important. So this is really good for enhancers. Debuffers, for sure. Status ailments appliers, like people who want to proc sleep or paralyze and all that. It's also good for them. Not that great for just buffers for your team, but it's also a really strong gacha relic, and it's kind of built in the mindset of moving to the era of like hit is being much more important. Yeah, I'd say besides that wraps up the Valentine's event. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you're able to garner some information from it. And I'll see you next time. Peace.